Hey, welcome to Comic Book Convo video podcast number 2, right? I'm D.
And I'm E.
That's right. And we're talking everything comic related today. So welcome to the show. If you watched our first episode and subscribed, thank you very much for all 47 people. We appreciate that. Something along those lines. So if you
That's
invite
right.
another 47 people and they invite another 47 people, then we will hit our goal, right? And then we will start giving away stuff, right? I think that would be the goal, right?
From
So
your collection.
from your that's a true comic collector. Like, what? No, not my
That's
stuff.
right.
Now I'm
That's
sure
right.
we got some doubles and triples of things. I know we got some doubles and triples of things. So hey, we are getting into it, but before we get into one of our topics, E's left. Oh no, he's back.
Sorry, I dropped my phone.
It's like, that's it. The thought of giving away like any of your comic collection just flustered you so much. You were like, forget this, and you threw your phone on the floor, disappeared.
And
That's yeah.
I just in frustration
Yeah,
thinking about letting go of a single comic. It's almost impossible,
I
man.
know, I know, I know. They're all your babies. I know, I know.
See, that's the difference between me and like a person who's out there actively selling.
Yeah,
They don't have any emotional connection to I like the other day I gave my cousin some comics for my little cousin, his children. And I was like, no, I can't let go of that. No, I can't let go of that. It's books I don't even read. And then
yeah,
I said, what is wrong with you? So I gave them to him anyway.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I know what you mean. I know it's hard to even stuff like you don't want, you don't need. That's not even in good condition. You're like, no, but I like this. I want this.
It's
This.
true, man.
Yeah, yeah. It's bad.
Terrible.
So, but before we get into it, E, you got a shout out before we start the show?
Yeah, man. I just wanted to shout out Street Side Anthony comics here in the Bronx. You can find them on Instagram, Street Side Anthony Comics. We a couple of not this Saturday, the week before, we put together so what happened was that he sells comics and he sells them at great prices. He's a great guy. Great. You've been there, Danny.
Yep,
You
yep,
know,
yep.
great dude. And so, he's always helping out the community. He does raffles, he does food giveaway. I mean, a whole bunch of stuff. So every time I talk to him, he's telling me, he knows I'm a pastor. So every now and then he's telling me, hey, I did this, I did that. And I'm just amazed, and I'm watching when he's talking to people. He hooks people up. He gives kids freebies, adults too. I mean, he's just awesome dude.
Yeah.
And so I told some of the guys, I said, we should do something for him. He's always doing for us. Let's do something for him. So basically about 6 of us got together, some of his regulars, and we put together like a little celebration type thing. We presented him. He's a Sergeant Bilko fan, so we gave him a bunch of, not a
Cool.
bunch, about 4 or 5 Sergeant Bilko comics. Some were in okay condition, one or two weren't, but one of the guys got him a number 1 Sergeant Bilko, so he's super
Nice.
excited. We got
Nice.
him, we got him new tables for his shows and stuff. We got him. One of the guys brought pizza so we could chill and eat, and then we got him cards, stickers, like business cards, stickers, and these nice pins that he has. So we got him like 1,000 of that, 10,000 cards, and then 2 banners. He never had a banner before, so we got him 2 banners, Street Side Anthony, 2 different kinds, and it was just good, man. We just spent time honoring him. We believe he's deserving of that honor.
Yeah.
I mean, it just speaks to the kind of person that he is. And so, we just sat around, shared, and there's a video up on our YouTube channel.
Yep. Go check it out.
Um, Check it out, and you'll enjoy it. Subscribe, like it, and then if you want, make some comments. You'll see a few comments there. He even commented. He's just been overwhelmed, and he hits me up. He's hit me up like 3 or 4 times since then. That night, as a matter of fact, around 8 o'clock, he hit me up. He called me. He said, man, I just want to thank you, bro. I just want to thank you. That was awesome. So it was my idea. I talked to a few of the guys. We set it up, and it was so worth it. He really is. It's like he's a seller. He's one that's not attached. He's attached to like very few things
Right.
in his comics. That's why he's able to sell and to sell so cheaply. But he's just a good guy, not just for the comics, but the community in the Bronx here. He's always doing stuff to help, the needy and just different things. So anyway,
Yeah.
it was just a great celebration. Street Side Anthony, check him out. Street Side Anthony Comics. You can find him on Instagram. and he's worth the trip out to the Bronx.
Yes, he
And
is. Yes, he is.
I'm almost always there.
Yeah, yeah. I've been able to go and check it out too. And if I had more Saturdays free, I'd probably spend more time there for sure.
I believe
So
it.
yeah, yeah. Shout out to Streetside Anthony to kick off our episode today. Get into our stuff. We last month we were at like the beginning of some new stuff. So last month I know we talked Justice League movie, the Snyder cut, which was we both agree was a better movie. And then we also talked Falcon and Winter Soldier. And what's amazing is that since then, we are at the end. This last weekend was the finale of Falcon and Winter Soldier, or should I
Oh,
say Captain
that's right.
America and Winter
That's right.
Soldier?
That's
Yes,
right.
that's right. So let me ask you this. What were what was your final impression? What was your impression of that finale and the story that it built up and told in the series?
Well, I absolutely, I think I said this last time. I absolutely love, um, of course, his name. uh,
Anthony Mackie,
No, I thought he was great, but no, the character.
Baron Zemo,
No, the Black Captain America. I can't remember
Bat Rock.
the Black
Oh,
Captain America.
oh, I'm sorry, Isaiah Bradley.
Thank you, Isaiah. I love that character. I love that actor. I love the whole scenario. I love what they did. I'm still hoping that we get like a look back and see the Isaiah Bradley story.
Yeah,
There's speculation that they're gonna come out with like Young Avengers or a next event. Yeah, Young Avengers, I think it is. And his grandson, the kid that opens the door,
yeah,
right, for them to come in, he plays Young Justice, which is a character that doesn't have any powers at all. So that's pretty interesting. And he uses his grandfather's original shield.
yeah.
So, there's a whole bunch of stuff that, but I just love, the social commentary. Um, and then I thought it was a great way to honor his story with the way I don't, spoiler. I mean, when can we not give away spoilers? I mean,
Listen,
it's over,
listen.
right?
Yeah,
If
it's
you haven't
over.
seen it, it's your
If you haven't,
business.
yeah, you're not a real fan, and you're not
That's
watching
it.
this show anyway. So
That's
yeah,
it. Anyway, so yeah, the way they did that museum piece with him, I
yeah,
thought that was great because that's gonna stand. That's gonna be around for a minute. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
loved it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm with you. I thought it was a satisfying end. I tried to stay away from any outside media prior to watching it, so because I didn't get to watch it until um later in the day that Friday. Uh, but I enjoyed where the story went. I enjoyed, where Bucky ended up, and he finished the book, so to speak.
Yeah.
So there was a sense of like weight off of his shoulders, some freedom. So there was redemption, the final redemption, I think, for him in a lot of ways, and now he can kind of move on. Um, seeing um Captain Falcon, which I thought was a great line when they're like Captain Falcon,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy's like, "No, that's the Black Captain America."
Yeah.
I
No,
think
no.
it's
He goes, nah, that's Captain
yeah,
America.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I like where that ended. I do like the new suit. It's very comic faithful, which I
Yeah.
thought was great. Even
Well,
though
that's interesting you say that because if you look at him, you look at Zemo, you look at Bucky, right?
yeah,
And there's another one. Oh, even John Walker, right?
yeah,
U.S. agent. They it seems like they're moving more towards more comic accurate,
yeah,
right?
yeah, I think they did a great job. I even like John Walker at the end there. He makes that decision. I like that he spent all that time at the end of that one episode making a shield, only for it to get kicked out of the
It was
way. And
crushed.
yeah, and because that's not who he is. So
Yeah.
I thought that was cool that he did come back, and he did in essence redeem himself. Now we don't know where that goes, because we saw that he's still working with homegirl, what was her name, the Contessa, or well, she's kind of Madam Hydra at one point. Yeah.
You mean Julia Louise Dreyfus?
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Elaine. He's working with Elaine.
Elaine.
He's working with Elaine.
They need a
Next,
dance scene. They need a dance
yeah,
scene.
next is gonna be Kramer, and the rest of them are gonna be coming out, and they're all part of Hydra. That'll be
Hey,
great.
speaking of females,
Yeah.
what did you think about Sharon Carter's change into the power
Okay.
broker?
So I don't know where they're going with that.
I don't like it.
I and that's because I'm a big Captain America fan, and I loved Sharon Carter and Captain America and a lot of the great stories that went with that.
Right.
Um so for her to be this whatever she is, and there's still a lot of there's a lot of speculation as to who she's become, what she's
Mhm.
doing. I've read some stuff that she's deep cover, but then other things, no, she's a villain now, and she's gonna be a villain, and she's gonna be a villain in the next phase, and she's gonna be a really big villain. I don't know, uh, but it does seem like a really big about face, especially if you go back, and I recently watched Winter Soldier again, and that's I think where she comes up and she's like, you know, in the face of all of Hydra, she's gonna stand up even if she's the only one and help Cap. And for her to be where she is now, and then even Civil War where she helps them to be like, I was like, man, that's
Yeah.
crazy. That's crazy
Yeah.
to me. So I don't know. I feel like there's more to that story. I think that we're gonna get more of that story in future movies. I would really like to see her back in movies. But maybe a show. I don't know. We don't really know what the plans are for the show. They went from saying, and that was a big thing about the show, is that it went from being a limited series to now, I think it was because they changed the way they wanted it considered for awards. They changed it to ongoing series or something like that. And so now a lot of fans are like, wait a minute. And I think it's, if it's an ongoing season, that means that there's going to be a season two or something like that, which I think you could do anything in a season two now. But I would also like to see a proper Captain America movie, which is actually something that they've been talking about since Friday. Really, they're saying that the next movie, Captain America 4, is in the
Yeah.
works. And how do you feel about that?
I think it's great. I mean, I love Sam as Cap. We know in the comic books all the stuff he has to deal with as a black man, right?
Yeah,
But and that situation, him being Captain America, isn't a long term. I mean, isn't a long stint. So who knows what they're gonna do uh regards to that in the movies. So I'm all for it. I love it, but I do not like her as a villain. But remember in the comic books, she was shall we say influenced to kill Captain America.
yeah,
So
yeah,
maybe that's what's going on here. Maybe her situation is going to bring in another villain who's influencing her to be wrong. I mean, to be evil, to be
yeah.
to be the power broker. So I mean, I thought it was done great. I just didn't like that, but I
Or
love the show, man.
or perhaps Sharon Carter isn't Sharon Carter. We do have Secret Invasion coming up.
That's right.
And if you remember that comic series, it revealed that there were a lot of key players that weren't who they, we thought they were.
Right.
And so if we're looking at, and I think if we're looking at the key players that are on the field now for the MCU, and if they're going to do Secret Invasion, that means that couple of these people have to be scrolls, right? Because because at this point, if you bring in a bunch of new characters, well, then we're gonna be like, oh, that's a scroll, that's a scroll, that's a scroll. So like, if it's gonna have impact, it's got to be someone who's already on the field that's a scroll. And I think that that's gonna be a thing that maybe we'll see. With the Secret Invasion show, I know is coming out. So I mean, that leads to my next question is like, where do you think the MCU goes now? Like, I know we got this new phase, but like, and again, I kind of feel like we're all out here. We went to like Infinity War brought everything in, and Endgame brought everything together, and then now it's like everyone's scattered to the winds, and now we got all these little separate pockets. But where do we go from? Where do you think it goes from here?
Well, I mean, they've been talking about taking everything intergalactic out into space. So I think that's where we're going. But at the same time, I've read something where they're saying that is gonna lead us into the mutants.
Okay.
So I don't know, but
Yeah.
I've obviously, if they've been talking developing outer space stuff, that's gonna come next, and then again, they've talked about, there's been talk about young Avengers, or young, yeah, right,
Yeah, yeah. Young
yeah,
Avengers. Yeah.
right. So that's another area. Then they have the whole mutant deal, which I heard that they are considering doing like the original class of
Okay.
X-Men, which I think would be awesome.
Yeah.
Get a little more comic book accurate.
Yeah.
Um, and do it right, right? And so I'm excited, man. I think those are three really good ways. The outer space stuff. I think, man, it's gonna be either really good or really really bad. And I think outer space stuff, a lot of movies, if they don't do it right, what they do is they almost make it psychedelic, and that doesn't
Yeah.
translate well. Like, I didn't like the way they did the subatomic or sub whatever of Ant-Man, when
The
he goes
quantum,
sub.
the quantum world,
Yeah, I
the
didn't like
quantum
that.
world.
The way they,
Yeah.
it's too psychedelic for me. Maybe it's
Yeah.
just me. But
Getting
if they do
flashbacks,
this,
is that what?
maybe, hey, I don't. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's
But
funny.
when they do that in the comic books, if it's done wrong, if it's not
Yeah.
done right, man, it's just terrible. And it's the same thing to me in movies. If that psychedelic stuff is done wrong, then it's going to be terrible. But I don't see them doing that too much. And so,
Yeah. Well, I
it's
think,
outer space, mutants, young Avengers. That those are things coming, I think.
yeah, I'm curious to see how the world opens up a little bit with this Loki show, if because we're gonna get to see a different kind of environment, and we're gonna get to see these time and space agents and how they're
Right.
maneuvering around things. It just kind of takes us into a different world. I know Quantum Mania is coming out with Ant-Man, and that's gonna take us into another level as well. We got Thor 4 working out, which looks to be a crazy movie. I mean, they just announced Gladiator himself to be Zeus. What's his name?
Zeus.
You know, so that might be cool to see. And they're gonna lean in on the humor, but they're also gonna be in space. We still have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 that's gonna happen 2022 or something like that.
And someday they're gonna release Black Widow. Someday.
Someday. Well, no, they announced July. We're getting
I
it
know.
in
I'm just
July.
saying.
Yeah. Yeah. So, which I want to see, but I don't know if that moves if that moves anything forward, with the exception of introducing the new Black Widow, because I really think that's all that's left to do.
The
I think
White Widow.
yeah. Well, in the comics she played Black Widow um and took over for her more than once. Like so we'll see how that plays out. So,
Yeah.
but I don't really see that really moving the marker. I don't see anything amazing happening in that movie unless I don't know. But I think the fact that they were able to delay it so much and it really not have an impact on anything. Uh,
Well, I'm gonna tell you what I am hoping to see. I'm hoping that with the Ant-Man going to quantum, whatever it
the
is,
quantum realm, yeah.
the quantum realm, that we then are introduced to the microverse,
Yeah.
and the Micronauts come. I would be
You
super, because I have a nice
uh
run of the Micronauts.
I know. Actually, oh, that reminds me. I found a couple of Micronauts that you can have. I'll take a picture if you don't have them already. Send them your way. But Micronauts, man. Well, I'm a big Quantum Mania. Like, I hope they're in that universe and they find the Fantastic Four floating around in there or something like that. I
Mm,
mean, to me, that seems like an easy way to introduce them, into things. So,
yeah,
rather
that's
than like
good.
the space thing, introduce them that way. Now, one other thing that did come out this weekend, at least the trailer for it, was Shang-Chi, which is kind of the next big thing. Now, I know you and I have had conversations about this, and I think like a lot of people maybe not as familiar with the character or his comics. So did you see the trailer and what did you think?
I did. I thought it was done well. I thought it looks
Looks
good.
good, yeah.
The action is good. They can't, nowadays. You can't do Fu Manchu the way they did back then.
Yeah.
But he's still the villain, and I think they're changing his name though. I'm not sure. Um,
They're making a number of changes from what I understand
yeah.
to some of the canon and some of the characters. Now, the crazy thing is I know for me, like, I'm not as familiar with the character. I know I went back in some of my books and I do have a number of them that that are in there kind of mixed in, but I'm not familiar enough. I haven't read enough of the character to really be like, "Oh yeah, that's
Well,
now
he's the son of Fu Manchu
yeah.
in the comic books, but Fu Manchu, that character was like super stereotypical,
Yeah.
right? So they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna have him really yellow. He was like pale yellow,
Yeah.
and it wasn't an ink mistake. It was
Yeah.
just the way they did it, and he was super stereotypical. So they're not doing that. And then one other change that I find interesting is that they're bringing in the real Mandarin.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for that. I love that character. So we'll
Yes.
see, man.
How do you feel about the fact that they've been saying that the rings aren't actual rings, but rings that he wears like ringlets on his arms? Did you
Eh,
see that?
no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, and then also they're talking about the introduction of Fing Fang Foom.
Woo, see, my hairs all stood up. Another favorite of mine. I love anything Fin Fang Foom related.
Yes,
Anything.
the only thing, and now the only reason they're saying this is because there's a toy, and again, Marvel's notorious for this.
Right.
Toys start getting developed, toys coming out, and I understand there's the production process of creating the stuff, so they want to have it out when the movie comes out. But
Right.
apparently, there's a toy of Fing Fang Foom. He's not green. He's a white dragon.
Hmm.
He's white and like red, at least from some of the screenshots that are out there, I think on Reddit and a few other places. He's a white dragon with like red trim or whatever. So, you know, uh, the that actually bothers me a little bit too much. Like I don't know the fact that he's not green.
Right.
I was watching, and this is where you go. Me and my daughters were watching the Iron Man TV show from the 1990s. You know the weird one. I am Iron Man. Yeah, that it was weird. And we were watching an episode, and Fing Fang Foom is like in the first episode of the series. He shows up for 2 seconds, fights Iron Man, like disappears, and as if like the Mandarin just calls on him whenever he needs some extra help.
Right.
Meanwhile, I'm explaining to my daughters like Fing Fang Foom was like a legit villain, like he could do stuff, like he was bad. Um,
He's super bad.
yeah. So he's not like a pet.
Right. Right.
But I'm excited. Like if Fing Fang Foom is going to be introduced, if we're getting the Mandarin proper, I'm excited for that. And the potential of what that could mean for the whole Marvel universe. Because again, I feel like these movies have their self-contained stories, but obviously there are bigger repercussions for everything else that's going on in the movie verse in the MCU. So uh
Yeah. I Fin Fang Foom, if they do that right, man, it
yeah.
is so dope. One of my favorite stories is Fin Fang Foom is someone going to get the 10 rings and they meet up with this old Asian man up at the top of a mountain, and it's him. It's him. Oh,
That's
so
cool.
good. I don't know what comic that was. I don't remember.
If you know the comic that story is that E's watched, so if you're watching this and you know stuff, drop it in the comments below. Let us know.
Please.
And what do you and actually, if you're watching this and you want to comment, tell us what you think about Falcon and Winter Soldier's finale, and what you think about the MCU and Shang-Chi. Like, where's this going? What do you think is going to happen? Drop in your comments, drop in your thoughts. We'd love to interact with you guys and check it out. So
Yeah, man.
yeah. So our next kind of topic for the night is our spec deck, and we're talking about spec comics and stuff like that, which is a big deal. I think has always kind of been a big deal, but certainly now it just seems like things are popping off left and right, especially with these movies and different series and characters showing up all of a sudden, from week to week, month to month, things are changing big time. And I think you had a couple of books that you were talking about um
Yeah.
that
First,
that
let me
that
say
people should watch. Yeah.
first let me say that I am no expert at this stuff. But one thing I am an expert at is
Buying
knowing how
comics?
I feel about some things. And I don't like the fact that speculation is all about the movies now. If it's in a show or a movie, that's what's driving comic
Yeah,
book prices.
yeah,
And I think that, I don't know, like I can't tell you what did it back in the day. I don't know. But I don't like that it's just the movies. Oh, first appearance of this person. But that's what it is. And so here's my first one. Long shot number one. Long Shot #1. If you could pick it up, it's still fairly cheap. Do so. It is important right now, again, because of the movies. They're coming out with right, the X-Men. And so one of the things that they're talking about is the introduction of the Mojo world. And if you know, that's where Long Shot comes from. And this is the first appearance of Spiral. This is, I believe, the first appearance of the Mojo world.
Yeah.
And so, maybe I'm not sure if Mojo is the first appearance too, but I'm just saying, like, all of that stuff is in here.
Yeah,
And so,
I believe that comic right there and that series is a 6-part series because
yeah,
I have I think I have most of those. But that series right there was the first time that we start finding out where Longshot was from,
right.
because Longshot was on the team and he was doing stuff, he showed up, but now we start finding out about Mojo World and why he's so different, why he's so weird. Now, some people have a love-hate relationship with Longshot. I'm not crazy about him as a
Me
character all
neither.
that much.
But
But
interesting factoid,
yeah.
he has hollow bones.
Yes, like a bird.
Yep.
Yeah, like
Here's
a
another
bird.
thing I really, really liked, the way they killed him off in Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. So, uh,
You got
so
one?
well, I don't have any physical ones, but I do have ones that I've been watching, and maybe our production team will throw a graphic up for me at some point. But one of them that was Marvel Comics Presents. Now, I've been collecting Marvel Comics Presents comics for a while. The reason why I've collected Marvel Comics Presents a lot of them is because they've got some great Sam Keith art on them. Right, that's why I've been collecting. So I've been collecting a lot of those Wolverines. So there's a whole series of them. Marvel
Mm-hmm.
Comics Presents Wolverines. A lot of them, uh, people don't realize they're double covers. They're two stories in one. So if you flip the comic over, you got another story. So a lot of times Ghost Rider was in a lot of those. And but there is a Marvel Comics Presents number 72, which is in the last month or so shot up like 10 times in price. So
Mm.
it was a book that was going for like $100. Now it's going for like $1,000. And now that makes sense, and probably because of the talk of a new Wolverine series, because in Marvel Comics Presents 72, it's Wolverine, and it's really before Wolverine there was Weapon X. And so it goes into that whole story, which they're talking about. And I know you've heard this, they're talking about that, like a Wolverine series that explains his origins and goes into some stuff. And they've announced a couple of things, uh but it doesn't seem like anything is solid just yet. I don't know that I want a Wolverine TV show. I kind of want to see him in a movie proper, but I get it. But because of that stuff, I think Wolverine stuff is always popular, but I think Wolverine stuff is going to keep shooting up, especially first appearances of Wolverine, which is Incredible Hulk, I think 181 or something like that. And that's another book that has shot up. It's already an expensive book, but it's shot up even more, like a couple $1,000 on top of what it would already was. But Marvel Comics 72 is another one that is shooting up in price, and that's going to be, that Weapon X story. So yeah, that's one to watch for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, man. This is fun stuff. So here's another one I found. It's already, it's already kind of dope in itself, but well, let me just show it. It's the Ultimates #1.
Yeah.
The Ultimates #1. It has some really interesting characters, like this man right here. I forgot his name. Brashear, Dr. Brashear, I think is his name. Um, and it also has this lady. Where is she? Here she goes. That
Yeah.
is that is Monica Rambeau.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's
Is she
T'Challa.
is she Photon there, or is she?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think in this series is when she takes the name, maybe even in this book.
Yeah.
But the reason this is a big spec and is moving up quick because it has the first appearance of Ayo or Ayo. I don't know how the pronunciation is. It's AYO. And she is one of Black Panther's Dora Milaje. And you guys who watch the movies are very, very familiar with her.
Yeah.
She was in Black Panther. She was, I believe, in Infinity Wars. I'm like 90% sure. And she was in Falcon and Winter Soldier as the one who came looking for Zemo, and this is her first appearance.
She
Ultimates
also
number
she also
one.
has
So
that
this is
great
moving
she has that great scene with Scarlet Witch in Civil War. I'm not Scarlet with Black Widow in Civil War, where she's standing by the car and she's like, she tells her, "You need to move or I'll remove you."
Yeah,
And
yeah,
T'Challa's like, as much as I'd love to see that, we need to be diplomatic here or whatever he
right.
says. So yeah.
She's also possibly, if they go the route they've been talking about for Black Panther, um, which I keep forgetting. I should have wrote it down, but there's they're thinking about doing a Black Panther thing, whether it's a movie or a series based on Wakanda, and she apparently would play a major role in that as well. So
Oh, I could see that. I could see that. She's pretty compelling,
yeah,
and she's tough. That whole crew in Falcon and Winter Soldier, that scene where they take Bucky's arm off is pretty cool scene. And it's probably the worst scene for John Walker when he gets his butt handed to him, and they're like, what? They weren't even super soldiers. They just messed him
right,
up. Yeah.
right.
That was a turning point for
Great
the
scene.
series and for him, yeah. So absolutely. As far as spec goes, something that I saw online this week that bugged me out, and I don't know if you remember, this wasn't that long ago, the Convergence series. Now,
Hmm.
a lot of so that's a polarizing series, but that was DC's attempt after New 52 to bring New 52 into line with like what happened before then. And there was this whole series, and of course using the Flash to fix things and to go back in time, and they brought the universes together. So Convergence Superman #2 is a book that is still very affordable, but is a book that no one was talking about, and all of a sudden is like, hey, check it out. And now it's jumped up in value. It's hovering around 50, $60, but it's moving up. And it's interesting. That's a comic book that, like, it, I don't know why. Like, sometimes you see the spec stuff and you see these books and you can go like, oh yeah, that makes sense, that's in a series. But then sometimes you see other stuff and I was like, huh, that
Hmm.
is an interesting book. And I have that series. And here's what I'll say. I think I bought a stack of the Convergence books, like at Comic Con, like a giant stack of them for like one price for the whole stack. It was like a whole series, like Superman, Batman. I bought all of these, and they weren't that expensive. So the fact that something like number one I could get maybe, and there was a separate
And number
Convergence
two is the
book.
one moving up.
Convergence Superman #2. So they did they had like a main series, and then they had these spin-off series with the different characters. So it was like Batman and Wonder Woman, the mains, and all of the stuff that was going on. They were all connected. But yeah, there's just this, so it's kind of a strange thing to have that be a book that's shooting up, but it is shooting up, and something to check out, and something, if you're into that, if you're into buying books, for profit, that might be something to check out. I know you and I are not. We
Not yet.
buy
I want to be, Danny. I want to be. I want to be,
we're gonna
man.
retire. We're gonna retire and just buy comic books.
Well, listen,
Yeah.
my wife wants to open a bookstore.
Oh,
I We talked about bookstore, comic shop.
yep.
You come in with me. It makes it a little more realistic.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I've been talking
So
about that for a while. I've been looking at spots. So let's go. Guys, listen, if you're watching this video, you might have just seen the beginnings of the comic book combo shop.
that's right. And if you want, you can get in on the investment right
Yes,
now,
this is
ground
a
floor.
this is a great opportunity. If you send us a check for $199.99 right now, right, you can buy one share of Comic Book Combo Shop.
Bam.
Boom. Awesome. So man, so yeah, that's our spec deck. And we keep checking out these spec comics and seeing where they go. If you have a spec comic that you think is worth checking out, or you're like, what? Or you think our spec comics are stupid or whatever, let us know. Drop them in the comment. We want to chat. We want to talk. We're lonely. Please, we talk to each other a lot. We want to talk to other people now. So hey, our next segment here is behind the curtain, right?
Behind the curtain.
Right, behind the curtain,
We need a
right?
graphic or something.
Post production. Notice I'm saying all these placeholders, hopefully that our producer will go ahead and drop these in post production. Guys, we're getting there. We're getting there.
We
Please,
need to pay her, man.
yeah. She lives here. And
There you
uh,
go.
so you asked an interesting question, and you said, "What's your holy grail comic and why?" All right, so that was you had suggested this question, and I thought it was a great question. And I would actually say, hey, if any fans want to drop a question that you want us to answer on the show, drop a question and we'll answer that as well. But what's your holy grail comic and why? Listen, I thought of a few comic books, like even that Hulk 181 first appearance of Wolverine showed up kind of in my head. I helped a friend get that a few years ago. She
Wow.
was looking for a gift for her husband, and I helped her hook her up with that. Um, uh,
I have a wife and my birthday's in August, right? I'm just saying.
all right, I'll let your I'll let your wife know so that we can set something up. But I was thinking of this. Uh, it's funny. I was talking to my wife the other day about buying a comic book that was like in the thousands of dollars, and she just kind of looked at me like, what's wrong with you? But Holy Grail. So we're talking about Holy Grail. Money is not an issue. If we could do it, if we had, if we were different people, maybe we get it. And I have to say, I love the X-Men. That Spider-Man, my first memory, I shared that on the last show. But very soon after the X-Men, and certainly growing up in the early 90s, the X-Men were everywhere, right? TV, comic books, they had a million books, toys. So X-Men for me is it. And if I had to choose something X-Men wise, X-Men number one. I would go X-Men number one. 1963, X-Men number one. Right now on eBay, there's one going for about 60,000. And it's a graded 6.0 for 60 grand. And I would, yeah, that would be it for me. That would be something I'd be able to put on the wall. I would light candles to it every morning. I would just
And you'd be living alone.
I'll be living alone. And another one of my hobbies is watching tiny apartment videos, like 70 square foot apartments. It would be me, my comic book, and some candles in my 70 square foot apartment. I'd be sleeping on the floor and just staring at my X-Men number one and just enjoying every moment of it. But yes, it's a comic that I love. It just I love the X-Men. I love the X-Men for so many different reasons. And you know that one of my favorite characters of all time is Cyclops. I have an entire shelf dedicated to Cyclops figures, toys, and stuff, collectibles. I love Cyclops. So definitely X-Men number one would be it for me.
That's great, man. For me, well, my like the priceless one would be Iron Man 1, and
Ooh.
I'm doing a run from 1 to 100. I don't know if I'll ever get a 1, but and I'm doing that. So my priceless one, like the valuable one is
Yeah.
that. But my real holy grail has more to do with my heart. My first collection was stolen from me,
Mm.
and the only comic that I remember for a long, long time from that collection was Fantastic Four number 54, which is Black Panther's like third or fourth appearance. Um, and the storyline includes Wyatt Wingfoot, their Native American friend. It
Yeah.
includes the Inhumans. It's got the floating heads that Marvel does a lot on the used to do a lot on the covers.
Yeah.
Has Johnny Storm flying through like an Aztec temple,
Yeah.
really angry because they stole Crystal or something, his girlfriend, the human. So there's just so many different storylines there. But the real reason is, I mean, it's a great book, but the real reason is like it was stolen from me. So that was for a long, long time,
Mm.
the only comic from that collection that I remembered. And recently I picked up another one. If you go to Comic Book Convos on Instagram, you can find it. It's the one that I animated with the tornado, the Fantastic Four and the
Yeah.
tornado. That's another one that was in that collection. So, but that was a later comic and it was stolen later, whatever. Anyway, yeah. So I would say Fantastic Four 54, but I have it. I have three of them. I have a really beat up old one. I have a 6.0 slab,
Yeah.
and then recently I picked, actually, I think I have four. I picked up two better copies. One of them looks like pristine, and I'm thinking of having that one graded. just to preserve its white pages. I mean, it's
Sure.
beautiful whitish color. I mean, white cover, and so I love white covers. That's
Yeah.
why I like that the X Factor where they're fighting something of evil. I can't remember. The
Yeah,
white
I actually was
cover.
just looking at that one today. I almost bought that one
Yeah,
because I was looking at it.
I have
Somebody
that
had it
one
on sale.
slabbed. I
Yeah,
have that one graded.
yeah. That's a good
Great
one.
cover. So yeah, those are that's my real, like, this priceless one is Iron Man 1, but the
Yeah,
real one that is my heart is Fantastic Four 54, just because it was stolen from me,
yeah,
as a kid.
yeah, yeah, man. Yeah.
So
I mean,
that's when we play violin music.
yeah. Mhm. There's so many cool comics that I look at. I go, man, I wish I had that. Yeah, I wish I had that. I wish I could get that. Certainly, as you get more into collecting, you start to get more discerning,
Yeah.
and then you start getting more opportunities to get stuff because you start knowing where to look. And like you start getting one, two, three. Like, I totally missed out earlier today on an X Factor #1, and I like X Factor, the original X Factor team, because basically it was the original X-Men team, just
Right.
now they're X Factor. So I missed out on X Factor #1, but I did pick up X Factor #2. Um, but I was bummed out by that. But yeah,
Where'd you
there's a
get
lot
that
of near
SD
misses.
rum?
Um, yes, I think SD-ROM had it for sale, and I just missed it by like seconds, literally seconds. I was typing and I saw it. Someone else claimed it. So shout out to SD-ROM for having good stuff. If you got another copy, you want to hit me up, yo, let's go.
Yeah,
All
he
right.
usually does. He
Yeah.
usually does.
I did order. I did end up ordering a couple books, including an Excalibur #1, which I'm not even an Excalibur fan, but Excalibur #1. I figured why not?
I like
You
them.
never know when. And it's a cool cover.
Yeah.
Captain Britain and uh, Phoenix on that cover in like a different kind of suit than I think we see her later in. So that was it was pretty cool. But I'll
That is
get it and I'll show it to you guys when I get it. You check out Comic Book Convos on Instagram. We like to post pictures of our collection, of our new books, our old books, and everything in between. So speaking of new books, old books, and everything in between, uh, it's time for our episodes out of the box segment where we literally dig in our box. Because I know this, and fans might not know this about our show and about us, is that you and I know, have comic book boxes in our house right now, laying on the floor somewhere. You might have comic book boxes right behind. Yeah, I was like, mine are right behind my green screen. And I just did a big exchange this weekend. I took some that I had tagged and labeled and organized, and I grabbed another box that I, for whatever reason, didn't tag, and I found another box, and I was like, there's more comics in there I haven't touched at all. Uh, so I grabbed some, and so we always have boxes of comics around, and I know Ian and I are always buying new comics, and recently, the last few weekends, I've bought a few comic books. Uh, so I got a couple comics to show off, right? So this is our show and tell out the box, and I'll start off with a comic that I just bought again because I didn't have it
I gotta
scanned.
say, I'm so excited right now. I'm really excited when you buy a new comic. I really am. Go ahead.
So I just bought this again. So I have this coming to me from maybe EJ Comics or something on Instagram. But I just bought this again, and I know exactly why I bought it online, because I saw it. I was like, man, that's a really cool, that's a really dope cover. And sure enough, I open up one of the boxes I brought home today, and sure enough, what do I pull out? I pull out this, right? So here we go. Oh, I gotta get away from the green screen a little bit because it's picking up. But this is a Ghost Rider #29, and if you can see, it's Ghost Rider versus Wolverine, right? And maybe I'll throw a graphic on the screen so you guys can see it a little bit better. But his green pants are getting picked up by my green screen and my camera and stuff like that. But it's an Andy Kubert cover. Andy Kubert, Joe Kubert, who are beasts as far as artists, and they've done some amazing covers. So I had this sitting in the box. It's in perfect condition, and I just ordered another one. So now I have two. So I don't know. Maybe that might be something to do for a giveaway. All right. So
Hmm.
like and subscribe for your chance to, maybe get some free stuff. So check it out. So my first book was Ghost Rider #29, and I cannot get past the Flaming Skull and the fact that a Wolverine and him are going at it. So I mean that ticks all the boxes for me as
Danny,
a kid.
if you have like a whiteboard or anything that you can put in front of it, anything with a different color.
Uh,
N- behind it. No, it
I know.
doesn't.
Now it makes it even worse. He's
That
still.
is weird.
We got to figure out these things.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's
Yeah, it's only our second podcast, folks.
yeah, we're getting
Give
there.
us a
We're
break.
getting there. We're learning. So yeah, so E, what's your out
All
of the
right.
box?
So you've seen this because I showed it to you after I got it. I have to confess that I bought it in error. And
This is great.
what you know it, you've seen this. You recognize this. But I bought it in error thinking it was something else. And I'll explain it after I show it. You
Okay.
ready? It is Amazing Spider-Man MPI Audio Edition number 319.
Oh,
You
yes.
remember that I showed
Yes.
this to you?
Yes.
It's a slab comic. Oh, wait a minute. It's not a comic. It's an audio of a comic, I guess. And so they would put these together. This is from what year is this? It had the year here. Hold on a second. I saw the year. 1990. 1990. So these are like what they do is they have actors read the
Yeah.
script and they put it on audio. And I wish it wasn't slab so I could listen to it. I think that would be kind of cool. But yeah, it's a 7.5. And I didn't even know, like I bought it thinking it was a comic book, man. And I was like, oh, this is really cool.
So
And then when I got it, I'm like, wait a minute. Look at the difference in size.
yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't look like a comic book. So
is it like a cassette or CD?
I don't know. I can't tell what it is.
Just open it.
Just crack it open, right? My boy City Limits Comics
Yes.
does that.
I saw it.
You saw with the samurai sword.
Yes, yeah.
I seen him do golf clubs, hammers. I mean, he open. I'm thinking to myself, he must be doing all right if he's just opening slabs.
Well,
and then he resends them.
He's talking about, it's a scam, the whole slab market, but whatever.
Yeah.
We'll get there. That's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure that I was a big fan of like audio cassette storybooks when I was a kid. So like I had like Fraggle Rock and Muppets, and
wow.
I used to listen to like stories. I don't know why, but that we had those for some reason.
But I do want to tell you that not this one. I don't think I found this one, but you can find the audio for some of this in YouTube. For some of these, I found a couple on YouTube.
I wouldn't be surprised if you can find them on the internetarchive.com or .org or whatever it is. They might have them there.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. All right, so my second out the box pick, and literally out the box, I just realized I have to fix this because I got a dent in the slab.
I hope it doesn't have any green in it.
Dang. No, it does have some green. So let me get this close. This is
X-Men's classic.
X-Men classic. And I've got a run of these X-Men classes. X-Men classic number 70. From this is 92 or whatever. So X-Men classic and classic X-Men are traditionally like kind of reprint stories and stuff like that with new covers, right? Now, a lot of people don't know, but and this has got to be a thing like you got to like, but Mike Mignola, right, from Hellboy fame, did a whole mess of these covers. And I discovered that maybe just a few years ago. And so I started buying these X-Men classic covers that he did just because I like the artwork on them. Now, the thing is, he did the covers in a lot of them, but nothing inside. So so it's just, standard Wolverine, standard Kitty Pryde, but something about his versions of some of the characters I really like. I like his artwork. I even liked Hellboy quite a bit. So this was one of, so I got a run of these, and in one of the boxes I had today, I pulled out, I had a couple of these. So I really like these covers, these X-Men classics, and classic X-Men, the covers that he did. So yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah.
So we did the spec already, but speculation is that X-Men stuff is just gonna shoot. I already see it when I go buy comic books. I already see it on eBay. Just everybody's buying X-Men.
Yep.
But they're never gonna buy this book from me. At least maybe, unless it shoots up crazy. So first, I want to say it's another slab. It's another graded comic book.
He's so fancy.
It's graded 9.6. I counted how many slabs I have. I have 13 or 14 total, and none of them are like super expensive.
That's like 13. That's like 12 or 13 more than I have.
Yeah, anyway. It's listen. There's no like some people are like, oh, I have slabbed this. One of my buddies online, Keith Adventures. He's doing a run to 100 slabs. 100.
Yeah.
Okay, but it is what it is. Anyway, okay, ready?
Yeah.
You sure? Don't faint, Danny.
Yeah.
All right.
See. I want to see.
First, I'm gonna give you the title.
Just give it to me.
No, literally, just the title. I know you can't really tell.
Oh yeah, I see it.
X-Men 2.
X-Men 2.
9.6, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the real crazy part. It's signed by Jim Lee, Scott Williams, and Chris Claremont.
Nice. Love it. Yeah. Oh yeah, I love everything about that. I have like 6 issues of that comic in all different varieties.
Yeah, I have a couple ones. So
but,
1, 2, 3 signatures, triple sign, bro.
Is that I can't see. Is that the first print sign? Because they did some variations like on the set. Because that was the first one was a top selling. Second one was also top selling. And they did a couple of variations in the covers.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to tell by a slab.
Oh, sometimes it says it on it. If it doesn't, it probably is the first print.
Yeah, it doesn't say. And was really cool to me.
But the signatures, that's gonna be the thing, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You need one of those guys to die.
Right. Right. Hopefully I'll outlast them.
Yeah.
But here's another thing that I find really cool. It's Wolverine on the back with my favorite outfit.
Yeah. Did you ever play that video game?
No.
Yeah, it wasn't very good, but I remember seeing that on the back of. They ran that ad on the back of so many.
Oh, by the way,
yeah,
newsstand too.
Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice. I have. I think the first 5 issues of that, like multiples, and second prints and all. I love that cover. That's X-Men to me. I remember, I can actually tell you when I got that comic. The first copy of that comic I got, my brother moved out of our house, right? My big brother moved out, and I went to go sleep over at his new place for the first time. And he decided to buy me some comics, like to spoil me. And in the comics, in the bag of comic books, there were 3 X-Men comics. Number 1, number 2, and then if you remember, there was like the Adventures of the X-Men, which was like which is like the
TV show,
the
right?
TV show in comic form. Yeah. So those were the 3 comics that he got me. And I still have the ones he actually got me, but I've gotten better copies and stuff like that since and some of the like second and third prints.
This is why one of the major reasons why I love comic books, the memories.
Yeah.
The memories. I was talking to this past Saturday, I think it was Street Side and a bunch of other guys that were there. We just, I love going there because people are picking comic books and they're digging in the boxes, but they're listening to the conversation. So they'll be like, wait, when did that happen? And it's just a great atmosphere. So that's what happened on Saturday. And I remember saying that, I used to hate going to new comic shops because it was so intimidating and they looked at you side-eyed if you were not a regular, and then no one's ready to help you learn about what this is about. I remember walking into the what would have been the closest comic book shop to my house, which was it was a totally different neighborhood from mine. Where I grew up in the hood, this was a money neighborhood, and so I go there and, the guy's watching me the whole time, never said a word to me, never helped me pick out books. I didn't know what I was doing. I was a teenager, you know what I mean? But it's these kind of stories that I think comic books, like you, Danny, looking at this, right? You look at this, X-Men number 2, and you said, that's the X-Men for me, that era. And then you went on to tell the story of you getting the comic and still having those exact
Yeah.
comic books. I mean, all of that stuff is dope to me. That's part of why I love collecting, because when you start sharing stories, start talking to people about a different comic. Oh, I remember where I picked that comic up. I can tell you exactly where I was the day I found a comic book in Spanish that I knew I had in English.
Yeah.
I can tell you it's on 105th Street between 2nd and 3rd. The bodega, Fafo's Bodega. It's not there anymore, but I could take you to right where it was. And I remember running out, running up the block to my building, running in my apartment, pulling out that comic book and going from word to word, bubble to bubble, page to page. And then my mom buying more comics in Spanish. And that's how I learned to read
Yeah.
Spanish. So, you know, this to me, that's part of the whole deal. It's not that's why the speculation game and all of that is cool. I want to make money too, all right? I do. But man, there's got to be some more to it. There's got to be some story behind
Yeah.
it. And that's part of what I love about
You
comics.
you don't get into this and stay in it as long as we have, and I know some of, like, guys like Street Side Anthony, and the guys who go out there and check it out, and some of our connects on Instagram and social media. You don't stay in it, you don't do it if you don't love it. And I know that, we're guys who love it, and we love it, not because, again, we're making money off of it or anything like that. I mean, we're not, I'm not. I know you're not.
I
We're not making
wish.
money. This YouTube channel will make us no money. So the idea here, though, is just we love this stuff. We love these comic books. We love the stories and the memories that it brings to us. And I know we talk about this all the time. Hey, remember when you saw that? Yeah. And then, of course, the stories themselves in the books, they hit different for us. And
Mm-hmm.
and especially because I know, like, you collect the stuff from when you were a kid. I collect the stuff from when I was a kid. And yeah, we're still reading new stuff and checking out other things, but there's always, I think every comic collector has, like, that time period, because of those memories that they gravitate towards. That's why, like, I know, when you and I go looking for comics, we're not always looking for the same thing. We're looking for
Right.
different things, different eras and
Right.
stuff like that, because it's what speaks to you. And that's really the great thing about this hobby, this collector thing. It's so much fun to find things that help you to remember, but
Yep.
also, are just cool stuff. It's just cool stuff. So that's I think that's about it. Any last words before we wrap this up?
Not really. Oh, you know
No.
what? I did want to shout out
Yo.
Keith Adventures, Nelvis Eats. These are Instagram accounts. Re- uh, Reggie, I can't remember Reggie B. I can't remember what the other part is. Zombie Rob or Rob Zombie Rob, I think it is.
Yeah, Rob
BX
Zombie is
Boxer,
yeah.
yeah. A BX Boxer, Toys Alive. Listen, if you're into toys and you want to watch a crazy live show on Instagram, and they do shots during the show, it is hilarious. That him and his girlfriend, they're just. I remember the
Yeah.
first day I walked into their show. It was one of those things where I was like, "What is going on? What are they doing?" It was loud. It was lights flickering. It's crazy. It's definitely an experience. It's not for everybody, but nice. They're really nice people. It is funny though, and they
Yeah.
do mostly toys. So if you're into toys, that's for you. So shout out to them, Toys Alive. I mean, these are all people that I know from.
Yeah. Hey, I would say shout out to Empanology, because that's the official food of the Comic Book Convo podcast, and
That's
us
right.
guys.
They're
So
they're our meal sponsors.
for real, it will change your life. Check that out too. So yeah. Yeah, awesome. So we're gonna wrap this up. Hey, if you got questions or you got comments or anything, please like, subscribe, and comment on this video. We're trying to drop a new video every month, and we would just want to engage with you. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook at Comic Book Combos, and yeah, give us a shout out.
And
Tag us in
Twitter, we're on
something.
Twitter too.
Oh yeah, we're on Twitter, Comic Book Combos. Check us out. Tweet us or retweet us or tweet at us. Or I'm not really a Twitter guy, but
Me
go
neither.
ahead, go ahead, hit us up there. All right. And if you think there's anything that we could do different to make this podcast better, shoot us a message or
Or
a
help
DM,
us.
or help us. Yes, we could use some help. We're just a couple of guys doing stuff and sharing our love. So, hey, thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Peace.
Peace.